Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Bottom Line. I'm your host, Lauren Kalil. Our show is brought to you by Vuori. I have an unhealthy amount of joggers, but Vuori's performance joggers, they take the cake as the softest, most comfortable pants. Make sure to check out the description below for 20% off of your first purchase. On today's episode, Patrick Clark is here with me to discuss the athletes that received the additional Replica Games jerseys, and some of those athletes, they will be joining us momentarily. But PC, this has been a crazy week and a half from the moment that NOBULL revealed that they would have these jerseys and athletes would get a cut of the proceeds, to seeing who those athletes were. And now they've added additional athletes. Right off the top, what are your thoughts about everything that's kind of happened in the past week and a half or so?
Um, I mean, I'm a big fan of it. I think when I originally wrote the story, I said that, to the delight of many people. When I meant that, I meant mainly the athletes, organizers, sponsors. This is a big step. This is something that didn't have last year, and now they have it this year. And there's, obviously there's a lot of talk saying that, they raised the prices on the jerseys and whatnot. But the thing is, they're giving back to the athletes. And eventually, I think the majority of people want everyone to have jerseys. And we'll talk about that later. But right now, with the addition of the six they just announced, we're looking at 26% of the individual field that will be profiting off of their name, image, and likeness. So that's a good move. It's a good thing. And I'm excited about the future of CrossFit when it comes to NIL.
So am I. And with one of those athletes in particular that was awarded one of the extra games replica jerseys, it was Saunders. What
Yep.
I love about her being awarded, this is going to be her 10th CrossFit Games. And she announced something pretty interesting on Instagram. We'll actually bring her on the show right now. Hey, Cara, how are you?
Hey, everyone.
Hey.
Oh, man. So initially, just what did it feel like to see that you finally were able to get your own jersey?
Look, it was awesome. Obviously, it's my 10th year. That's a really big deal for me. I didn't know if I would ever make it this far, if I would ever be here. So this feels like a massive achievement to me, and I definitely felt worthy. In saying that, it's kind of like a little bit of a bittersweet in that I wish, as an athlete and as someone who definitely believes in equality, people of like every nationality and gender and whatever, I feel like everyone is worthy also. It means a lot to me to walk out there and know that my friends and my family and my fans can support me on my 10th CrossFit Games. And I think that's more what it's about for me personally. And I think for a lot of the athletes, that's what they would love and appreciate, is to be able to look up and see people wearing their shirts and to know that they really value and respect the hard work that we put in all year round. And so for that reason, I feel like, everyone was worthy. In saying that, I am super excited. I'm really excited to see people wear my jersey, maybe to see my daughter wear one of my jerseys and, my family. And I think that will be really, really cool.
So what was it like as a longtime CrossFit athlete, somebody who stood on the podium time after time in the top 10, when you first saw the list of athletes and your name wasn't on there, what were some thoughts that went through your head?
I was a little bit disheartened, I guess, to be honest, for a couple of reasons. One, when I very first saw the list, the selection didn't make a lot of sense to me. So I thought, okay, if a company doesn't have the means to do a shirt for all athletes, then you would think there'd be a specific criteria to pick the athletes. In the past, NOBULL, being the head sponsor, made shirts for NOBULL athletes. I didn't agree with that, but I understood it. I was like, okay, it made some sense to me. And then I had a look at the athletes and I'm like, we're not looking at just top podium finishes. We're not just looking at the placings from the season so far. And so I was like, how do I understand that this is fair? And I couldn't understand it. I couldn't understand how these athletes have been selected. And it felt like a bit of a popularity contest from the brand, rather than hey, this is like a calculated decision or whatever. And so I felt disheartened and I was sad that I'd missed out, because I also within that was like, well, if you're going to choose someone, I'm like, I've been here 10 years. I've been in the top 5 multiple times. I've been on the podium, all of these achievements that I'm so incredibly proud of. And I thought, with those achievements, if they're not enough, then where is this coming from? Is it Instagram followers? No. And so I couldn't quite make sense of it. So In the initial stages, I was a little bit disheartened. Obviously, I would have loved a jersey, and it's great to have one. But I was also a little bit disheartened just for everyone who feels like maybe they're not worthy. Maybe that, they're like, oh, we have a massive community in wherever they're from that won't have the opportunity to support them. And it's not necessarily just financially. That's just a bonus, and it's great, especially for international athletes, but to show that support and to represent, like we have a couple of the boys back in Oz, like Jay, for instance, young fella, been training hard, has like mad Aussie fans, and they would give anything to support him. And so I had a little bit of like a bit gutted for myself, and then also like equally for everybody else that wasn't in that category.
So with that, though, you just posted on your Instagram yesterday after you saw that you were awarded the jersey that you're actually going to split the proceeds with all of the other Australian athletes that are going to the games. How did you come up with that idea? What was going through your mind when you thought, hey, this is how I can do my part to be fair?
Yeah, look, honestly, I kind of went, I'm not the owner of NOBULL. I don't make the big decisions on how they run their business, like how they choose to do it and how they market things or whatever. That's not my decision. The least I can do that feels like the right thing to do, which is ultimately all it is, I consider all of us equal. I think that there's only so much like money. There's only going to be so many jerseys. I was like, not everyone, what's the saying? You can't help everyone, but everyone can help someone. So I chose to just go, well, let's split it between the individual Australians, so my category, anyone that doesn't have a jersey, and, it might not be much. I don't know what it would be. It's definitely not about the money, but I do know after 10 years of traveling to the US for the CrossFit Games, I know the massive expense that that we pay. And especially, for a couple of people like working full-time jobs and still training and all of those kind of things, any dollar will go a long way. And I guess for me, it's even just like one little part of showing them that like, hey, like we're all the same, we're all equal, we all put in the same amount of work, we all deserve the same fair treatment, and the same money, the same rights, everything, same fair competition, all of that. That's just one little representation that I can do. So I think it's the least I can do. I've been trying to think up some ideas of maybe some other things that I can do to help support those athletes with whatever means I have, which is a little bit smaller than a big company. But if there's something I can do, if we can come up with something, then I'll definitely do that. That can help my fellow Aussies out.
Hey, Cara, you mentioned that obviously Baden, who has, I believe, 3 kids, maybe another on the way. I don't know, but
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit younger, and it is quite a trip here. But has any of those athletes reached out to you, and have you talked to them, and like, what's the response been like from actually the actual athletes?
Not so far. I haven't. I think everyone's just kind of busy in the trenches sorting out like their training and stuff like that. So I didn't necessarily. Yeah, I'm just going to sort of like organize it with them when I see them. Figure out how we can make this work and how we can find a way to better support them. Yeah, like someone like Baden, he works a full-time job, and he's training around that and, living dad life. And I know what that's like, and I really value that. That's hard work. That's really hard work. And so, yeah, I'll catch up with them when they're all on this side. I think we're all in different spaces at the moment, and I just respect their time prepping for the competition. So, yeah, I don't know what it'll look like, whether the cash comes in and I can, but I don't know, but we could buy a coffee or something. It'll count.
I think you'll make more than that.
People have spoken. The people have spoken. So I mean, we haven't gotten the numbers, and but I imagine quite a few people voted. So I don't know, take a little bit more credit for that. I imagine you get more than maybe a couple cheese curds up in Madison. I don't know.
Yeah, that'll do.
I think a lot of cheese curds. Cara, was there a way that you got fans, family, people that to rally for you to vote? Like, what was your strategy? Did you have one?
No. So I know Maddie, like, number one husband, just loving on his wife. He like put some stuff out there and was kind of rallying people together. I did sort of make a comment. I did sort of question on the post where they originally posted about the jersey. I raised the conversation and I had a discussion like privately off that Instagram post, with the CrossFit Games and things like that to better understand it. But I think maybe people saw me comment. I don't know, or maybe they're just like people are like just doing me a solid because they know it's my 10th year and I'm like turning up with my kid or something. It's hard. I don't know. Maybe it's just sympathy votes. I don't know.
No, not at
No,
all.
it's definitely not sympathy.
No.
Maybe because people want to see Scotty in the jersey.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
That might be part of the driver. But what is it going to be to see your daughter and like people in the fans wearing your name on your shirt? Does it make you feel like the sport is a little bit more professional and like on par with some bigger sports because of that?
Yeah, definitely. And I think the thing aside from the CrossFit games, the CrossFit community is always thrown around there as like, and I see it now like in another gym on the other side of the world, like from my home, everyone welcoming me with like open arms and being super kind and supporting my journey. And people genuinely like good people, and there's a lot of good people within CrossFit that that are just in your local gyms, like that aren't professional athletes or coaches or whatever. And they're good people and they just really value people's hard work and they like to show support. And I know how much that actually means to others. And obviously, like for me to look up and see jerseys or to see like, my in-laws or whatever, like, wrapping a jersey and knowing that I had that opportunity, like, we were talking about it the other day that, Scotty's been a part of this journey for so long and we'll have another baby one day, hopefully. And like, we're like, oh, maybe they won't be a part of the journey. And like, so to be able to like have that and to see that, it's just something that we can kind of carry on forever. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's definitely, it feels like a real privilege. Like it's really exciting.
Cara, you mentioned some of the people that's helped you along the journey and all these nice people. Well, right now you're in Cookeville, Tennessee, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I am. Everyone, the hospitality here, like people are so kind and so welcoming and yeah, just so quick to like offer a hand and everyone's just so friendly. It's been amazing. So when you're like so far away from home, it's really nice to be in a town where everyone's pretty friendly.
So you're not the only athlete there. It's actually, I think like Cookeville's kind of turned into the United Nations of CrossFit. I mean, you have
that's a good way to put
it. I mean, you have, Campos. You have so many international athletes there. Guy, who spends most of his time there, but it seems like Oldest is there now. I mean, this is a lot of. I think at one point, I think it's over 20% of the individual field is in Cookeville right now training. Talk about that training environment. How is that?
Honestly, for me, it's like, it's amazing because, you might see I train predominantly in my front yard or in my garage. So
yep.
I do have a gym that like a little community at CrossFit Carve, like up the road from me that I'll go to when, my space isn't cutting it. I don't have the right gear or whatever. And they're awesome, but I spend a lot of time at home. Or even in the gym by myself still. So to go into a space that has such a, like, the whole vibe, like there's so many people there for the same purpose, doing the same thing. And then all of the people, even the members within the gym, like they know it so well and they support it and love it. And so for them to have everyone in there, like I don't even need to train with anyone. Just being in the space and having that vibration is epic. And it just like makes you kind of want to be better. You see people like being better every day, like just doing cool stuff and pushing the boundaries. And then you've got like Rich with so much experience and, just the resources and like the space itself is just massive and has everything that we could possibly need. So it's honestly, there's a reason there's so many people in Cookeville at Mayhem right now.
So how do you decide? I mean, obviously you just opened that new athlete training center. You have Mayhem itself. You have Rich's barn. You have Senior's barn. I mean, how do you decide
where do you go?
Where you're going to go? I mean, is it just, I mean, you might show up and it might be completely crowded with people. Then I guess you go to the next one or.
Yeah, for me, honestly, like I'm a guest. I kind of treat it as like I'm a guest in someone else's home.
Yeah.
So I just try and make the least impact as possible, stay out of the way. I'll kind of go into that new space on the side sometimes when it's quiet. Often I'll, or if there's a class on, because I don't want to like be in their way. I kind of respect the class it's on. Or sometimes I'll spend time out on the gym floor too, because there's a bunch of kids that are there for either their parents are doing classes or Rich's kids are running around. So Scotty's usually racing around. So in the big open space, we can keep an eye on her. So, we kind of spend a bit of time out there. I've been out to the barn once on the weekend, just kind of like as needed, depending on like what's going on at the gym. But yeah, I kind of just float around wherever I'm going to be out of the way of the people who like, that's their home, right? That's their gym. So I'm just respectful of that.
Well, it's getting down to the crunch time, Cara. We're excited.
You you mentioned Scotty. Last year,
Mm.
obviously, you had some struggles. You're pretty much all by yourself. This year, you have Scotty, Matt, you have the Mayhem community, you have fans. It just seems like you're in a lot more positive space than you were last year. I mean, are you looking forward to that moment to share that with Scotty, share that with Matt, to go up to Madison and again, like you said, look up in the crowd and see your in-laws and your friends and family, and then all wearing your jersey? Are you looking forward to that moment?
Yeah, honestly, like from the minute we left, like just my body, like my stress levels, like last year I actually felt like I was just experiencing like almost a broken heart. Like I got sick. I didn't have my family. I was like so alone, and in a process that's such a challenge, and it's like it's such a big thing. Like you need your people, you need some comforts, you need some love, you need some support. And I had people definitely here trying to help me out. I really, really will appreciate, like Briggsy just taking me under, like making sure I was okay, like things like that. But having them here with me, I just feel so at peace. And I'm just like, every day I pinch myself. I just can't believe like that they're here and we're doing it together and we travel together. And, I've even got like my business partner and another friend coming all the way from Australia to like take photos. And so I actually just have like a team to share it with, and you can't compare it. Like you can't compare it. It's like I don't know how anyone could do it. I feel like even if I hadn't have got COVID last year, I'm like I don't even know how I would have performed, because I was just I was depressed. Like I was just so sad. I love my family, and I can't wait. Like I can't wait.
Well, we can't wait to see you. Yeah, well, we can't wait to see you in Madison. Cara, congratulations on all of your achievements and getting your replica jersey. We cannot wait to see the fans and little Scotty wearing it in the stands.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Cara. Oh, that's going to be amazing. And I really love how she's helping out the other Australian athletes. I think that really speaks to her character and how she wants to also help move the sport forward.
Oh, definitely, especially for Australia. Obviously, CrossFit's so big, but it's still an island that's kind of self-contained. So,
right.
She's one of the OGs, like you said. Speaking of, you're wearing an OG shirt, but she definitely falls in that. She definitely falls in that category.
Yes, she does. Somebody else that falls into that category, also a parent. I really hope we see all 4 of his kids wearing the jersey. Is Travis Mayer.
How many babysitters do you have in the van right now?
Yeah, so there's a lot, but so it's a full whole thing. Like people, no when some people were, and they were your car, because you have the big app, but I have 4 cars, so I'm not sure that in the side and then to trading, but yeah, there's definitely here.
I think your audio might be cutting in and out a little bit. Is it for you, PC?
No, I think it might be Travis.
Is it you? Is it me? Who is it?
I just got inside and try.
Okay, yeah, and you can jump off and jump back on. We'll still be here.
Yeah.
All right, give me that.
Okay, we'll see
like
Travis
a
in a bit.
Like a real dad. In his car, just getting away from the, just I need a moment of quiet. I got an interview, so I'm gonna go out to the car.
Well, in the meantime, let's take a look at these are the athletes, the new jerseys, the full list. So we have BKG, Travis Mayer, who's going to jump back on, Willie George, Cara Saunders, Danny Spiegel, and Amanda Barnhart. You also have Emma Lawson at the bottom with an asterisk. We'll talk about her maybe a little bit later, but first, those 6 athletes, do you think that the fans got it right?
Oh, 100%. I think when you and Brian talked about this and we came up with a list of athletes that were missing, I think on the men's side, BKG was top of the list. On the women, it was Cara. And, these are 2 of the most well-known, most well-decorated athletes in the sport. I mean, Cara is going our 10th year. BKG, here's a constant podium threat. And then you have someone like Danny, who's not only popular, but she performs very well. I mean, in non-CrossFit games of environments. And then Amanda Barnhart, who has been around. She's a top 10 threat, a podium threat as well. Travis has been around since I think 2014, maybe 2013. but
Mhm.
you know, he's been around for a while. And then Willie's really unique in terms of this will be his third CrossFit Games, I believe, but he represents France, and France, as we know, is especially this year in terms of CrossFit, it's been growing. And him getting a jersey, it shows how much that those fans, and especially particular ones in France, you know, they want to see their guy have a jersey, and they want to support him.
Yeah, when I saw these names, none of them surprised me at all. I think that I mean, I think all of the athletes are deserving of the
Of course.
jerseys. We've spoken about it before, but I think that the fans got it right. These are people who we want to see have jerseys. They've been in the space. We're gonna have Travis come on back. We'll
There he
see
is.
if the
There
audio
we go.
is. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, yeah. So outside outside because all the kids might still be yelling. So I was like, well, we'll stay out, but ended up just coming down.
Oh no, I think it's still cutting in and out, Travis.
It might be your earbuds.
Still?
Go again.
Hello?
Testing. It's like delayed with
Still nothing.
yourself. Why don't you take your headphones off and try to just use the phone?
Is that better?
Maybe.
Sounds like it.
Delayed?
I think your audio's delayed, but it doesn't.
I can try it on my computer. We can try it on that.
Yeah,
You know what? Yeah, let's try the computer because we want the best audio from Travis Mayer.
exactly. Yep.
Third time's a
You got
charm.
We'll get it figured out. All right.
Thanks,
Okay.
Sharon.
He'll be back. In the meantime, then let's actually go back to the initial lineup. Here are the names. Let me pull this down really quick. Of the athletes that originally got the jerseys, the asterisks, those are the athletes that are NOBULL athletes. And then the teams at the end, you could not order those online, but you could, or you can rather, get those at the games. PC, what do you know about which jerseys are sold out? What do they still have in stock? I know NOBULL plans to restock, but where are we at today?
Well, outside of their pre-sale, online inventory, they've sold out Mal O'Brien, Chrissy Aramo O'Connell, Bailey Rowell, Haley Adams, Daniel Brandon, Patrick Vellner, Guy, and I believe Justin Medeiros and Laura Horvath. They've sold out their men's jerseys, and they're really close to selling out of their female jerseys as well, or for women. But yeah, I mean, everything's, from what I've heard, the response. I think Noah's men's jerseys are sold out as well, and everyone else's is either really close to selling out. And I'm talking to people from NOBULL today and previous. They plan on restocking these both online and having a stock at the NOBULL experience, the retail experience on site as well. So
Okay.
because it's sold out on the site doesn't mean they're not going to have that jersey at the games. They're holding a bunch back, so that way when they get to the games, they can sell them off the rack there. So that way people there actually at the event can wear the jersey, because most of those sales, you don't know if they're going to be in Madison or not. They might just, it's still good. It's still a good thing if they buy jerseys and support the athletes. But it's a great thing. I mean, there was some kickback. Some people are complaining about the price point and that, but obviously that didn't scare people away, and it shouldn't. I mean, we as a CrossFit community, we need NOBULL to succeed, and NOBULL needs to make a profit for them to succeed. And with inflation and the rising cost of manufacturing and supply and everything like that, they had to make that adjustment. So yeah, but at the end of the day, the athletes are getting money out of it, and they didn't get that last year. So
Right.
it's a good
And that's
thing.
what we really want to see.
Exactly.
Okay, we're taking a tour with Travis. We went from his car to his walk-in to now his couch.
Man, we have just gone everywhere. Is that better?
That's
Yeah,
okay. It works now.
Great.
Oh, jeez. If not, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what's going on.
Nope, it's good now. Travis, how are you?
Okay. I'm doing wonderful. Just finished up some coaching after a long training day, and then now trying to be somewhat tech savvy, which clearly I'm not.
Does
Just
somebody
trying to figure out
else
how to.
shoot your online qualifier videos for you?
Yep. Usually there's
Good.
someone else that's setting it up. I usually just put my phone, set it up right there, hit record. It's usually good. But even for that, I don't have to talk. I usually just leave it, let it run. or any podcast or anything we do, there's someone always at the gym that's handling that, not me. That's I just try to stick to the working out.
That's okay. We troubleshoot it and we figured it out. With it, when it comes to the jerseys, what were your initial thoughts when you saw the list and you're like, man, Travis Mayer ain't there?
Yeah. Come on. No, I mean, first, I think it's honestly pretty cool that that they're doing this for the athletes. I think regardless of whose name was on it, whatever, I think the opportunity for the sport to continue to grow and to see how it's kind of just grown over the last 10 years and to honestly be a part of that from the beginning to now and literally seeing the full phase of all of it has been pretty neat. I'll admit I definitely was bummed kind of not to see my name on there. And, I've made it since 2013. And I think from that standpoint of just being like, man, I've been in it for so long. And I get it. There are definitely bigger names in the sport that have bigger social media followings. And honestly, at the end of the day, it is still on NOBULL for producing sales and making money. Like, they're still a business and they want to run that. So I think for them, it's understandable and no hard feelings, but the community spoke. And I was pretty excited when I actually got notified from them, and I was like, all right, that's pretty neat for that to happen, and just kind of a cool honor. My dad's like, I'm gonna go buy a lot of them, and I was like, okay, Dad, 'cause he's like, it's my name too.
Oh my God! So your dad feels like he has his own name on a jersey.
Oh yeah, he's like, oh, it's me on this shirt. So, but it's pretty cool. I mean, it's sometimes you don't ever know in those situations. I mean, I definitely don't have the largest social media following of everything, but to kind of see the whole community and people around the gym rally and kind of put their votes in and it stand out was, it meant a lot. So it was pretty cool to see at the end of the day.
Travis, you may not have the largest social media gathering or community in CrossFit, but you have the largest family. So
that's for sure.
That's why people need to buy your jerseys. You got diapers and toys and you got mouths to feed. So. Man,
daycare. That's the big one, man.
I've heard.
So I mean, that's the reason. Hey, so help Travis out with daycare. Buy jerseys.
Yeah. That's what I need it for. Diapers, daycare. Those are the big things. Definitely a full household. And right now it's a lot. My wife goes back to work next week, so all the time and planning kind of works out perfectly. Is next week I'll be heading out, but definitely a interesting time frame of how it's all structured and kind of plays out with her schedule, my schedule, and she has the summers off, so it allows me to train more during the season, and then she goes back to work the first week of August, so it's kind of like terrible timing for everything back home, but it's pretty exciting. It's definitely busy, that's for sure.
But I mean, you mentioned that like you don't have the biggest social media following, but I think I saw Noah Olson reshare to like encourage people to vote for you. I mean, everybody at Training Think Tank, all of the other athletes, it seems like you really have this strong support system that wanted to have your name on a jersey. Yeah.
No, I mean, me and Noah, we've been competitors forever since like we both have been in the sport since I guess back then 2011, 12, kind of during the Open, and he's always been somebody that I've always kind of like been head to head with kind of at Wodapalooza and all these other events. And then we've just grown into having like a really good friendship over the years. And then now that he's been with Max, I think it's 6 years now, like we've grown even closer. And then doing Wodapalooza with the boys, with Chandler and him, like I think all of us just have a really good time together. And it's pretty cool to see other athletes that want to support other athletes and see them continue to grow and their followings and everything else. And it means a lot from the gym side to the community at TTT, my whole gym, and then the whole community inside CrossFit to all come around and vote for the jerseys means a lot.
And I imagine the whole family is going to be repping the Travis Mayer jersey.
Yes, most definitely.
Even the baby.
Yes, yeah, all of them. 6'4", 2'1", we got all the ages. So we'll start with see how small the shirts go and go from there. Some of them might need to be cut a little bit, but we can figure it out.
Travis, you mentioned the TTT community, and this year was kind of unique. I mean, you have someone like Alexis Raptis who moved there full time, and she's been training with you, Sarah there. How's this season been different in terms of training leading up to the games than past years?
Yeah, I mean, usually there's been always kind of like a steady group that's going into like from the beginning of probably like January through I would say July, depending on semis, of who qualified, who didn't, and then kind of those who didn't are kind of like, all right, I'm going to kind of go back home and take this time to relax, and totally understandable. But then you have others that stick around and want to do all the training. And so last week, getting everybody together for this was kind of like the second mini games prep camp that we got everybody together at, which was a little different in the years past, where we probably had a bigger group that came together, but this one was a little bit smaller. And honestly, it just felt right. That's kind of a weird thing to say, but it just felt right having everybody there. And there we still had normal training that everybody still did, but then when we had like the game style Coliseum workouts or outdoor workouts, it was like, okay, it's time to drop the hammer and do this. But then for like another session, it was still your normal training, which I think was kind of good. That still kept everybody in their normal training routine versus just taking that whole 7 days and just going head to head on everything. It allowed us to still keep training the priority, and then ultimately Madison, the main focus on what we're trying to do and accomplish out there. But it's been cool to now have Alexis here. I think she's going to make a pretty big statement this year. From training with her every day, she's, I think, a very good contender, and a lot of people won't see her coming. But I mean, well, now they will because I'm telling you. But I think
PC. I think we both have her in the top 10 predictions.
Yeah. I think she's 10th in mine. So
yeah, so I think she's going to do some really incredible things, and it's going to be cool to see. But we both feed off of each other. So right now, Noah, a couple masters were here last week, but right now it's pretty much just me and Alexis doing most of our training together, and we definitely get a good push from each other on everything because our strengths and weaknesses kind of play off of each other, so it works out pretty well.
Have you? Go ahead, Lauren.
I'm just curious what it's like, since you have such a big group of people at the training camp. How does scheduling work with, the times that it's everybody together and times where like maybe you're just with Alexis, or maybe you're even doing pieces by yourself?
Yeah, so usually Max is kind of in charge of getting all of that set up and handled, and then all the coaches usually contribute in some way of organizing, getting people where they need to be. Because some of the events and things we do are like hour away. You might need to go do some obstacle course training. Then you go to a road bike. Then you're going to the lake. Then you're going to the pools. And all these places are literally everywhere. Like, they're not all at the gym, which would be great if it was. But you're just kind of, hey, these need to happen. So there's usually like a rough draft at the beginning of the week of times and schedules that he's already booked out. So then when we know where to go, at what time, and then the modifications of it'll be like PM, hey, you'll be on your own. I'll write this separately just for you. And then same for Alexis or Noah. And then sometimes we'll all actually just hop in together and do those same thing. But yeah, he's usually the one that I allow to take control of all that. We just show up and be the athletes. So he tries to make it literally like a competition. Even when we went to the field, we had like a small space to warm up. And he was like, you can't go outside of this area. This is the equipment. And that's it. And then you sit in the corral for 10 minutes. So then you're pretty much getting prepared. So you'd sit in a corral for 10 to 15 minutes in little lanes that he's already set up. So you're just trying to simulate as much as you can of that game's experience versus, hey, let me do the workout, 3, 2, 1, let's start. Where sometimes at the games, you have 30, 40 minutes where you're walking to the other venue, you're waiting, you're kind of cooling back down. Now you're carrying all your stuff, then you got to go somewhere else. So it just kind of prepares you a little bit more mentally of what that feeling is going to be like than going into a pretty hard Metcon and just knowing like, okay, did I need to warm up more? Do I need to adjust this? Do I need to eat closer to this? And so then it just allows you to get all the timing of everything kind of dialed in.
Have you taken on, I mean, obviously this is going to be Alexis's first year individual. Have you kind of acted kind of as a mentor? Or is she asking you questions?
Yeah, I'm the dad of the gym, I try to...
the dad of everyone. You have many more than 4 kids, apparently.
Yeah, we got a lot of... Oh, I didn't even see this dinosaur behind me. But, God, I didn't even see that. Was that been there the whole time?
I thought it was a pillow.
Oh, it's a giant dinosaur blanket. But no, I always try to help out everybody. You want everybody to succeed in the organization, not just like I want to succeed just as much as Noah wants to succeed. and we're all there to push each other and strive. And I think we're there to help each other and kind of give insight of, hey, what did you do here? How did this work? Would you have broken this up differently? And once you're at the games, it's kind of a little more separate. But right now, it's all we're doing is there to help each other. And it's also helping Max as a brand and their whole company grow. And I mean, me and Max have been on this journey for 10 years of constant evolution as the sport's grown, as I've had more kids, all these other variables of life that have happened. And just being able, I still want to see his business succeed. And if I can contribute to that and me performing well is going to help that, then I'm all for it. So it's definitely something I try to do for the other athletes as well, is provide insight. If there's anything like, hey, why don't you try this strategy, or even try eating this? This might help. Just know that like all the little details that you don't really think of for her is her first experience. I tried to just help out as much as possible that I can, and hopefully it will work out for all of us.
Well, Travis, we are excited to see you in Madison, back in
I'm very
Madison.
excited. Yeah.
Congratulations on the jersey.
Bring your dinosaur blanket. With
Yeah.
Cool
I'll put
down
I'll put the jersey on the dinosaur.
There we go.
Oh,
Yes. That's another jersey sold.
Yep, there it is.
Amazing. Travis, thanks for your time. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you in just a couple of weeks.
That's it. Awesome. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Travis.
bye, Travis.
See you guys.
He's so fun.
I know.
And with his whole family, I mean, he really shows that you can do it after children.
Yeah, and it's like, again, he's one of the good guys at CrossFit. I mean, there's so many good people in CrossFit, but if you meet him, he's like down to earth, and yeah, he's just what you expect. What you see is what you get with him.
It certainly is. And one more athlete that we are going to bring on tonight, who also got his own jersey.
All the way
KG,
from
welcome
all the
to
way
the
from
show.
Iceland. Oh no, he's not in Iceland.
What's up? Oh no, we can't hear
I
you.
hear you. Is there Wi-Fi there?
His connection is 7 out of 10, but it doesn't look like he's muted on our end.
Mhm.
We're here to troubleshoot through the journey of
Exactly.
getting athletes on our show. Oh, let's
Oh.
see.
Is your volume on? We can't hear you.
You can hear us. We can't hear you.
You want to go grab Lauren's phone and try it on Lauren's phone?
Okay, we'll let him troubleshoot for a bit. But
Yeah.
PC, I wanted to go back to Emma Lawson having a star next to her name
Yeah.
in the new jerseys. Why did you put that there? Let's kind of explain it for the
So
viewers.
Emma actually was supposed to be released with the original, I guess, 15, the original release. But there was a manufacturing error, and so they actually recalled their jerseys and they didn't put any up for sale. They're actually going through that right now. They're trying to produce the right jerseys, and once those jerseys are produced, then they'll put it back up. They just didn't want to they didn't want to misrepresent Emma, and so that's why they kind of pulled her off. But she will have a jersey. So altogether, it'll be 21 individual athletes, 2 teams, and 1 masters athlete in Sam Dancer. So yeah, so that gives us the 26% of the field for the individuals. But yeah, Emma will have a jersey. We don't know if it's going to be online yet, if they'll be available for online sales, or if it'll only be available at Madison. But she falls in that category of like young, up and coming athletes, and what better than a 17-year-old Canadian, right?
We love to see that. All right, we're going to bring BKG back on. Let's see. Can we hear him? Hello. No, we cannot. Oh no.
Oh,
The
Beaks.
heartbreak. We just want to hear you talk.
I know. Go grab Khan's phone or Lauren's phone.
He's like, I don't know, guys.
Let's see.
His
He's
connection
messaging.
does look good.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm gonna
we'll
message him. Well, he is obviously. Those who don't know BKG, Ava Kitsy, one of our writers, she's doing a story on how the whole Reykjavik team and the training plan team, they're actually at the Pit Fitness Ranch up in
Mhm.
Three Rivers, Michigan. So that's where he's at right now, training alongside Annie, Khan, Lauren Fisher, and Tola. Yeah, that's where they're all up right now. So maybe his signal, his Iceland cell phone service doesn't work in Three Rivers, Michigan. I remember when I was there, my mobile plan didn't even work there. So, but
Yeah,
we're
it can get pretty spotty.
yeah, but obviously BKG was one of those people. Yeah, he's saying he hears us well, but obviously, you know,
All right. Well, tell BKG we will catch up with him at the CrossFit Games. We're so
yeah,
excited that he got his own jersey. I talked to Danny Spiegel yesterday. She was really excited about getting her own jersey. And I just know that this is a push in the right direction. And eventually, again, NOBULL does want to have jerseys for all 40 individual athletes.
yeah.
Any other things that you think people have been talking about in the community that we've learned more new information about, PC?
Well, before you're gonna have to re-answer that question or ask me that question again. But BKG
Okay.
did message, says he wanted me to pass this along. I'm so thankful for the support that CrossFit World has showed me. NOBULL asked and the world answered. So his thank you to his fans, and obviously he was one of the top vote getters. Obviously we probably won't see how many people voted, but he has a talking to Snorri, his agent, earlier today. He has 317 members of his gym. So he said he can pretty much guarantee 317 jerseys were sold or at least voted upon by them because he's very
Love that.
popular in Richmond. Obviously, he's really popular in Europe, and he might not have the level of maybe popularity as some of the other like a Vellner or Fikowski, but he's a good guy and definitely deserves the jersey just on his body of work at the games. But
definitely a notable athlete that again, as we were saying with the 6 athletes that were awarded the replica jerseys after the fact through votes, no surprises there. But going back just to any other topics that you've seen or heard in the community that we could answer really quickly or that we've gained new insight to.
Yeah, I think the main thing was, like I said, there were some complaints that people are saying about the price point, but it's no different than any other sport. Based off, if you look at like football, for example, you buy a replica jersey with no names on it. It's, for instance, I
like $200.
Yeah, $200. And if you want say Tom Brady's name on there, you're gonna get upcharged another $40. Now, but the thing is, not everyone that competes in a football game has their own jersey either, or any other sport. So there's so many rules of thoughts. You can go either way. I mean, there's that whole participation trophy, type of, or participation ribbon. Does everyone that show up deserve it? Yeah, I think they do, but doesn't mean they necessarily get it. No. Sure. It shows this year, and I know NOBULL, they do. They really want to make this happen. It just right now, again, we need NOBULL to succeed, and financially, they need to make a profit. And they are a CrossFit company. They were born out of CrossFit. They don't, they're paying a lot of money to be the sponsors of the game. They've answered all the call from the athletes. People wanted more, the prize purse to go further down. NOBULL stepped up. They're paying all the way down to the 40th person. That's a huge investment by them. So NOBULL's going the right direction. And I think they're going to get this. They're going to just continue on growing. And because they're stepping up, other companies, other CrossFit brands are going to do the same. And Tier's a perfect example. Some of these other brands that are stepping up right now, they're following the lead that NOBULL's doing. And it's a good thing overall for CrossFit. So you can don't sit there and just hate on it. Just be a part of it. Buy a jersey.
Buy a jersey. That's how you can support. PC, what's your bottom line?
Bottom line is this is a great thing. NOBULL gave the opportunity for the people to speak, and they spoke and they got it right.
And we will see many of those jerseys in the stands. We can't wait. PC, thanks so much for sitting down, and to all the athletes that came on the show. Hopefully we'll work with people on technology and making sure that you guys can hear them. I'm glad that we got it figured out for Travis. BKG, we'll work with him in the future.
Exactly.
But thanks for joining us, guys. We'll see you next time.